Well, we're on board the Manannan vessel here in Douglas Harbour, and we're talking with the head of the steam packet and also a member of Isle of Man Police about the situation that's been coming up more and more, but we hear it from time to time anyway, that there's been problems on board the vessels at the bar involving alcohol. First of all, the very obvious question is, should you be serving alcohol to people who obviously shouldn't be having it in the first place?
Well, I think the first point we should make is this is not a regular occurrence. I mean, it does happen from time to time, but it happens ashore as well as afloat, so it's not a regular occurrence. I wouldn't want our passengers to think that was the case. As for should we serve alcohol, well, I think it's entirely reasonable to serve alcohol to the vast majority of our passengers who are well behaved and enjoy a drink or something with their meal. So I don't think that they should be inconvenienced because of the inappropriate behaviour of a tiny minority of our other passengers.
Okay. Now there's things in front of the court, so we can't go into details, but Steve, you obviously got concerns, haven't you? I mean, the police have authority, I understand, on vessels coming towards the Isle of Man.
Yes, there's a number of pieces of legislation in place which allows the police to act on instances that happen at sea on the vessels that the steam packet are chartering, and we will. I just basically want to reiterate that we will use the legislation that we have as if it was offences committed on land, and we'll. There's no difference in the eyes of the Isle of Man Constabulary. It's all about keeping people safe, and if there's members of the public on this boat that are put in jeopardy by a number of individuals, and as the Chief Executive says, it's a very small amount of people, then we will take action against them, just like we would do if they were in Douglas or the rest of the Isle of Man itself.
Of course, you have got some powers, haven't you? You can actually put a travel ban on people, I understand.
Well, we're able to do whatever we want as a commercial company because clearly it's not in our interest, it's not in our passengers' interest to have passengers who are known to be troublemakers in that regard. And much as there is a system ashore for people to be banned from shore pubs, then there's no reason why that shouldn't also apply to the Isle of Man.
Is there something that you can keep your eye on this sort of behaviour?
Yes, as I said, disorder on the boat in the confined space where there are no professionals available to deal with it. The Isle of Man steam packet employees aren't particularly trained in dealing with disorder issues with people with drink on board, and that concerns me. The amount of times it happens is very, very small, but when it does happen, it makes life a whole lot more uncomfortable for the other passengers, children, families that are on the boat. And basically I want to put the message out that if you have too many drink on board, or if you have sneaked drink on board in relation to, you've managed to get it on without it being located during the search procedure, and you get yourself in a state that you can't control what your behaviour is like, then we, along with the steam packet, will deal with those individuals like we would anywhere else on the Isle of Man.
So how will you actually ever be able to keep it 100% free from any trouble?
Well, as the Chief Executive said, the steam packet have issued or have the power to issue a number of banning orders, preventing people from travelling with the boat. It's up to it's their boat. They can decide who sails in the boat, and people who put other people in danger are getting letters suggesting that they can't travel on the boat, meaning they need to get other means of getting off the island. So clearly that's a disadvantage to them, and if they thought about it in the cold light of day, it certainly would sober a few of them up, pardon the pun, and their behaviour may well change on future trips, especially when there's large groups or specific stag do's, hen parties, etc. You need to behave yourself if you want to travel with a company such as the Steam Packet or any other company that operates travel from the Isle of Man.
I think that's the key. It's responsible behaviour. We want people to enjoy themselves. We want them to have a good time, but there's a fine line between having a good time and being a nuisance to others, and we won't allow that. We won't tolerate that, and if people do that, then we will ban them from travelling with us.